Hey guys, my name is Nabiri and this is the first episode of Synth Saturday. During Synth Saturday we're just gonna talk all about anything as long as it's created with a synth. And for today I have the leads that I've created for my track Edge of Spacetime that's released last week. If you haven't checked that out, please make sure to do, it will mean a lot to me. Thanks. So we're gonna talk about this lead over here. So as you hear, it's just a huge euphoric hardstyle type of lead. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk through all the layers, and all the layers are gonna be down below for downloading, so you can check them out yourself and maybe use them as a reference for your own tracks. Let's start off with this top lead I have over here. With this top lead, you generally want to put down a character for the entire lead, and I made it a little bit screamy because I wanted the top lead to stand out quite a lot. Behind that I have this one. And as you can hear, this is a little bit more soft and not as screamy, but it supports the top lead correctly already, and it makes it sound a little bit more full and not too distorted, as you can hear when I play them both together right now. And they still sound a little bit off, so that's okay, but we're gonna add more layers to make it sound good. Over here we got the first hypersaw, and the hypersaw is just a bunch of saws, and the bunch of saws is gonna create a nice, warm and more stereo field for our top leads to be in. So this hypersaw is just quite basic, maybe a little bit of an LFO on there to make it move a little bit more, and yeah, just have a listen. So this one, when you introduce that into your top leads, it's just gonna make a little bit more of a wide feeling for that top lead, even though the top lead is still the mono part in the middle. And it will sound like this. So you're already starting to have a more full feeling, and it's getting there, but it's not yet there. And then we have another hypersaw lead layer, and this one is a bit higher, because every layer we had right now is in the middle of all the octaves, and this one is just a few of these oscillators are pitched up, and with some oscillators pitched up, we can create some more air for the entire synth. Again, this is just a hypersaw that's going to build up on the stereo part of your entire lead. As you hear, when I take it away, it just sounds small, and with that higher layer in there, it's gonna sound huge already. After I made these first 4 layers, I felt that it was missing a little bit, and I didn't know what to do. I can add another hypersaw, but I felt that was wrong. So I tried adding another type of top lead, a little bit more mono type of lead, so it would be a little bit more resonating, but it would carry the rest of the leads a little bit better, and that's this type of lead. So as you hear, it's quite a pure tone, a little bit of a saw in there, and it just made everything just a little bit more tight. Without it, it sounds okay, but with it, it just carried the entire melody a little bit better. So just have a listen for how the 5 leads sound together. As you just hear, that 5th layer is just creating the fundament for the rest of the lead to be put on top. So over here we got the chords for the lead. For this lead I used 3 layers. Sometimes I use a little bit less, but just figure out what works well with the top leads that I've created. And as you can see over here, it's just a detuned saw lead, making some chords and starting the bass to get that lead sound huge. and that will already support these top leads. It will just be in the back, but it will be really in the wide side of the back. And then we have another chord layer. This one, if you listen to it carefully, you can hear that it's a little bit less wide, but it's a more characteristic type of chord lead. And this will just give the entire lead a little bit more body, and will also carry the other chord layer correctly, as you can hear right now. This is real wide. This is it's just filling up the middle of the entire chords as well. And then I have another layer. This is a little bit more of a unique chord layer, and this is a warmer layer. But because you're working in a lower-ish octave or with a more mid-frequency sound, you just want to have a little bit less voices and maybe a little bit more moving, so you can create something warm. So on its own, it's just not making sense at all, but when you put the other chords on top of it, it will just sound logical and sound warm. It just creates that warm body for the rest of the chords. And with the entire lead, if I don't use this layer, it's just gonna sound like it misses something. So with these layers, I tend to use some buzzes to get them sound nice and glued together. And I use two buzzes for them. This one over here is for the chords, and the top one is for all the top leads. And what I do in these buzzes is maybe use a little bit of EQing, sometimes some OTT, to just create a more tight feeling for this top lead. And then it sounds like this. And as you can already hear, it's just sounding a lot brighter for when we from when we take the sounds from the synths themselves. This sounds okay, but it just misses a little bit of high end, and I like to fill that high end in the buzz for all the top leads together. And I just use a little bit of a small reverb, just a tiny one, as you can see from the tail from the reverb here. It's just really small, and that just sets the top leads in their correct space to get the leads behind it, and just having a more wide feeling. So for the chords, I kind of do the same thing, maybe boost the high a little bit, but nothing too special. Just a little reverb on there as well to get that entire chord lead sound a little bit wet. And then under here we have the reverb for the both the buzzes and delay. And what these reverbs just do is, over here we have one that's kicking up every time when the notes are not playing. And we got another one behind that to just keep playing, and this will make the lead sound more huge. So when you put all of that together, you get the lead that I made for Edge of Spacetime. So thanks for checking this out, and see you later. The Edge of Spacetime.